Oh,
Okay.
no.
We are back. We are ready to go.
Oh.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chiefs Talk, episode 2 with Robert. Very excited to be in the building today. We got weird work schedules, so we get this stuff in when we can. Obviously, the big news: NFL schedule gets released last night, because we're doing this Thursday.
Yeah.
Last night. That's always so funny to me because half of it gets leaked beforehand, and then it's I don't know. It's just
always
another
the
way.
opener. It's always the opener that gets leaked, and
Yeah.
then a few little the Patriots and
How long ago did you know the Chiefs are going to be opening against the Browns? Did you
I
know
didn't
that?
No,
Okay,
I didn't
that's
know
new.
until yesterday.
Okay.
In the morning, there was some rumbles on the Twitter land, but no, I didn't know until it actually came out.
Okay. Couple of things, couple of housekeeping items that I gotta get out there and say really quick. I do want to apologize because usually when I monetize my videos, I just click monetize, forget about it, and go. I haven't released a video that was 40 plus minutes that I could advertise. There were 70 commercials, ads, and I felt horrible. I saw a couple of comments and people were like, "Hey, what's up with all the ads?" I'm like, what are they talking about? And I click on it and there's 30 different little yellow lines. I was like, oh shit, I feel like an asshole.
Steelers uniforms across the board.
I was like, oh my God. So I apologize for that. Won't happen again. Secondly, all right, I know I'm saying Kando's name wrong. I feel bad. All right, I called him Kaido for 2 weeks. How long he's been a Chief. I called him Kato, and then I looked. I wrote the N in his name, and it looked like an H, so I thought it was Kaih, and obviously it's not. It's Kando. My bad. Those are really the two biggies. We'll get through this difficult
time. Okay, Cam.
We'll get there. It's episode 1, man. It's not even pre. It's off season for everybody.
People just like to nitpick. That's all.
The other thing, Cornell Powell is going to be good, guys. I know people think he's a fifth-year senior. He's only going to be able to he's going to be good.
And he looks like Sammy Watkins.
He does look like Sammy
Watkins. He wears the same number. He just a big athletic man.
Freak. So, with all of that being said, the elephant in the room is the NFL schedule. Obviously, the Chiefs schedule is super weird to me. The fact that they aren't playing the Patriots, that's so weird to me.
Why is that?
No, it for New England, because me as a Patriots fan, looking at New England's schedule, I'm super used to seeing Chiefs, Ravens, those two are locked in, and obviously because New England didn't do great last year, they don't play the Chiefs or the Ravens. So I was looking at the schedule, I'm like, what the hell's going on with this? So super interesting. But with that being said, I guess we can dive on into the Chiefs schedule here. Opening up with they played the Browns in the divisional.
Yeah,
not the
that's where Mahomes went down with those little.
That's right.
Concussion, not concussion.
Yeah. So, but anyway, let's go ahead and get to two bangers to start off the season. Cleveland and Baltimore. Cleveland's going to be a good football team this year. They're making a lot of good moves. I think that they are on the right path. Opening up against Kansas City, they're. No, this is Chiefs schedule, so it's in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Thoughts, predictions. Why the standard thing to do with schedule release stuff is always be what's their win-loss record going to be, and then you end up being off by 7 games, and you're like, that was cool. But since there's nothing else to talk about, Chiefs Browns Week 1. What are your thoughts, feelings, opinions? How do we feel about this one?
I think it's going to be a great game. I mean, obviously, both teams motivated, both with sour taste in their mouth from their last game that they played, and the Browns knew that they had a chance to really strike while the iron was hot when Mahomes went down, and they missed that opportunity. I mean, Chad Henne didn't do much, but he threw a pick. He ran and got close to that first down. And then he made that 4th down play to ice the game, which was great. But I think both teams are going to be super motivated. I would not want to play Patrick Mahomes coming off of a Super Bowl loss the way it was, and his first game, he's probably itching just to freaking unleash on people.
Just let it rip.
But I will say Cleveland, I mean, their defense is solid. They got a great running game. And Baker, I don't know. I usually hate on Baker Mayfield just because he's such a douche to me. But
I love Baker.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what it is. Just never liked him. But last year, he really proved wow, with a good coach and good play calling, he can actually make a lot of plays and put the ball where it needed to be. And he played great all year. But I don't know. It's so hard now because like with Mahomes on my team as my quarterback, it's like I look at any game and I'm like, oh, we can win that one. We're gonna win that one. But I also got to be realistic. Like, okay, like this is how I think now is how can the Chiefs lose this game? And they could run down the ball down our throat and they can pressure Mahomes, and I don't know.
Play ball
and then honestly, they can score. It really comes down to can our defense stop Cleveland, because that's what kept us in the divisional round.
Yeah,
was Matthew flying around and getting to Baker late and maybe some
that's
bad
right.
throws.
There's a lot of flags in that game. I think that this one's going to be really interesting. I think the biggie for Kansas City is they retained a lot of skill talent. Offensive line wise, I think is going to be the biggest thing. Like, how cohesive can this offensive line get within that 4 weeks, of preseason? Obviously there's, mini camp, OTAs and all that stuff, where they'll be getting used to each other and used to the calls and all that. But the thing that I think keeps Kansas City ready to roll for this season is the fact that they do have that veteran leadership. Like, obviously with Mahomes back there, he's going to fix a lot of your problems. He's not just like a talent throwing the football. He's also very, very smart when it comes to protections and stuff like that. But I do think that there will be a little bit of a lapse just because two new tackles, like it's going to be tough. But when I go back and forth and I kind of ping pong this in my head, it's like, all right, Orlando Brown, who is, a vet, a great football player, Joe Tooney, who, obviously spent the last couple of years in New England. He knows his stuff. I think that they get off rolling in this one and that they beat Kansas City, that they beat Cleveland. I do think it'll be tight. Yeah. And I do think Cleveland's,
because I did just make a bet. So
what's the spread?
The spread is already they have all the week 1 spreads out on my app, and it's -6 Chiefs at home.
Really
pissed off. I dropped 200 on it right away.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. But dude, that's the thing with every Chiefs bet.
Yeah.
Every time I look at a Chiefs game, I'm like, if it's not 10 points, I'm gonna hammer the Chiefs.
At least
like every
9.
single time.
God, I know.
-6, I would probably take -6 against Cleveland. Opening up at home, you'll know a lot. Like, we'll know a lot throughout preseason. Preseason for Kansas City is going to be super interesting this year. For me personally, just watching that offensive line. Like,
and
Humphrey's going to.
We're one thing about being an opener too. It's going to be loud because we're actually at full capacity.
Fans are going to be there. Oh, so it's going to be such an electric environment. Are you going to try and go? Are you going to go?
I have some work things. I already have like a few weekends I need to take off. I don't think I'll be able to, but I want to go to every Chiefs game possible. Right. But I think I'll save it more because now that I know, like, for the most part, we're usually going to be playing in January and February. I like to kind of save it. Save my trips, but obviously there's a few, we'll go through it, but that I want to like definitely go to.
Yeah. So we both have them beating Cleveland in week 1.
I would say yes. I say it'll be tough, but I think towards the end of the game, fourth quarter, they'll, Mahomes will turn it up and get
start
up
to
by
pull
a
away a little bit,
and then maybe let him back. It'll be like, I don't know, 8-point victory, 9-point victory.
Okay. So you're saying two score game?
Yeah,
like
I'd say
10,
a score
9,
and then like
9,
a field goal. Yeah.
Okay.
9.
So Chiefs. So basically, Robert's saying Chiefs -6. Definitely take that bet. Okay, so we both have them beating Cleveland, starting off 1-0. This next game against Baltimore is going to be super, super interesting. In Baltimore, Sunday Night Football. Thoughts and feelings on this one, Robert?
We've just dominated Lamar Jackson. I wouldn't say completely dominated, but like every game, and he even calls us his kryptonite. The Chiefs are my kryptonite. So, but also something's got to give. I feel like I'm trying to be just like outsider looking in. Like, I don't know, we're 3-0 against matchups between Jackson and Mahomes.
Sammy signed in Baltimore, didn't he?
Yeah. So I don't know if he helps out with that, if that's a big deal. But we went to Baltimore week 3 last year, and it was Monday Night Football, and we absolutely destroyed them in that game. And Lamar was very mediocre. So I don't know. I
always end up playing the Ravens like super early in the season.
Oh yeah, it's always
like at some point there's going to be a late season game with them.
Past 2 years. This is the third year we'll play them within the first 3 weeks of the season, which is fine because honestly, if we lose week 2,
dude, get the game out of the way.
Whatever, 1-1 or even I don't know. I was even thinking about it today. I'm like, what if we went 0-2? We're still okay with how we clean up after it. So
what do you think for that game? Do you think the Chiefs win?
I am going to say that we take an L in that one.
Wow.
Because Mahomes, I hate when they put up those things of like, Mahomes is 10-0 in September. He's never lost a game. He averages 130 yards passing, no interceptions, and it's just like, I don't know. I always think about those kind of like
they're
dynamics,
right?
You know, like they're due for something. Like, okay, finally get it off the back, then people will stop talking about it.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I'm just, when I looked at it first, I was like, that is. I mean, obviously, I don't, like I told you, I think we could win every game, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was an L.
Yeah, I think that they can. I think they beat Baltimore at Baltimore, and here's my reasoning for it. Baltimore has to replace Orlando Brown at left tackle. That's not a small issue, right? And even if you move Ronnie Staley over from right to left, it's like, all right, well, now you still have to replace your right tackle spot. I think that they had a little bit of turnover offensively, and I understand that they're still very Lamar-centric, which is exactly what they should do. Build your entire game plan around that dude. He's probably the best athlete in the league. And I understand Chiefs, Mahomes. I'm just saying, like, Lamar, I've never seen it as an elusive as a runner as Lamar in open space. That's just my personal opinion. But in terms of why I think the Chiefs will win that game, they also lost a little bit defensively. Like, no Udon this year is huge. You got to find a guy to replace that, right? Like, there are some things that they need to figure out. So I think that the Chiefs will walk away from that one 2-0, but that's going to be a tight one. And the other thing is that, like, game planning and stuff like that is so huge, because if the Ravens can do what they've tried to do and control the rock, that can be a completely different ballgame, right? And it's in Baltimore, right? You got to deal with that crowd. I would imagine that they're going to be at full. I would imagine everybody's going to be at full capacity.
Yeah, I mean, we just got an alert today. I think June 15th, even in California, like, there's no more masks.
Yeah.
Soon,
so I would imagine that that'll be I do think the Chiefs will walk away with that one with a win. But again, it really depends on, and that'll be kind of the theme throughout this. I think within the first 5-6 weeks, it's going to be all about getting this offensive line dialed and ready to go. And I wouldn't be surprised to see, maybe they drop the Buffalo game because, obviously Buffalo's got an outstanding defense, but there's a couple of question marks on the Baltimore defense that makes me say Kansas City will be able to walk out of that one 2-0. So currently I have the Chiefs at 2-0. Robert's got them at 1-1, heading back to Kansas City, for a game against Los Angeles. Chargers, how do you feel about this one? Have they made enough moves for you to be like they're going to be a threat to Kansas City this year?
I mean, Herbert, he definitely gave me a scare last year when he just showed, like, when Tyrod Taylor was supposed to start, and all of a sudden, boom, freaking Herbert's out there. And dude, he's impressive. He's super impressive. I think he needs to get better with his decision making. He made, it was his first game. He made some pretty dumb plays that, even with a lead, that kind of screwed up that game. But I don't know. The Chargers Mahomes just picks them apart, dude. It's about their deep. He can just sit there, and then with Tyreek, God, you can do anything with that guy. And I don't know. I just don't see that as a loss at all. That's like an easy one for me.
Okay. I think that Herbert year 2 is going to be really interesting. Herbert was one of my favorite prospects last year, and I didn't do a ton with draft stuff last year. Herbert was one of my favorites. I thought that he was going to be very good, and he turned out to be very good. So it's all about keeping him healthy. The Chargers made some good moves to stack their offensive lineup. They drafted that. They drafted Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern, and he's a stud. I think that will help. Do I think it's enough to push them over the edge? No. They lose Hunter Henry. That's a huge loss for LA. So I do think that Kansas City will walk away with that one with a win. But the Chargers are going to be a team over the next couple of years that if they can get that moving in the right direction, they're going to be very good. I think that eventually 2-3 years down the road, if they continue to make the right decisions, those games against the Chiefs are going to be absolute bangers. So I have the Chiefs at 3-0 after that. You have them at 2-1, big win after a maybe loss to Baltimore. So heading in now, they got to go to Philly. Philly's a hostile environment.
Andy Reid's old town.
Yeah, you never know what can happen in Philadelphia. How do you think they do against Philly?
I again, I think we'll win every game, but or we can win every game. But I don't know. I feel like Andy with his wait, Peterson's out, right? Is he the?
Yeah, no, Peterson's out. I think they got a new cat in there.
I don't even know who it is right now.
I feel like
I don't know, new coach and going against Andy Reid and our continuity. We still have our same defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. We have Andy Reid. We have our same, supporting cast. They got new guys coming in, Devontae Smith, which is very, I think that's a great pick for them.
Yeah.
I hate when people bring up his size and whatever,
he's going to be good. Yeah. I agree.
But I don't know. I know their defense, is up and down. They kind of play to the level whoever they play, but I just don't see us losing there, especially, with Andy Reid going back to where he used to live and coach,
I agree with you. I think that this is a win for Kansas City. Philly at Philly can be very intimidating, but this team with its veteran leadership, new head coach in Philadelphia, for some reason, people try and make a quarterback controversy out there. I think Jalen Hurts is their guy.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
I don't get people were mocking QBs to Philly for the draft, and I was like, why would you do that? Jalen Hurts is a stud. Let the kid run.
Just because they benched him,
yeah, but they benched him because they wanted to. They were purposely trying to lose
over the Giants, right?
Yeah. So weird. But no, I do think that they're gonna walk away with. I have them at 4-0 going into this game against Buffalo Sunday Night Football. That's gonna be another electric game.
Again,
I have them at 4-0.
Pissed off.
Pissed off Buffalo team, dude. Kansas City, Andy Reid put on a clinic against Buffalo. Andy Reid put on a clinic against Buffalo in the AFC Championship game. Do you think it's different this time around? You were there. Do you think it's different? Not a big deal. You think it's different this time around?
I mean, I don't know much about what the Bills did, but I don't, if I don't know anything, that means something, nothing really memorable happened this offseason, what they did. So I don't know. The way Mahomes just literally, once he turned it on and, after Nicole Hardman's fumble and got them the 9-0 lead. After that, it was just off to the races, and there was no stopping us. And I gotta tell you though, I love Buffalo Bills fans. Man, they're at the stadium. They were so freaking nice, humble guys. I actually bought 4 of them that we were kind of bantering back and forth, but I ended up buying 4 of them. Tall boys of beers,
that's awesome.
Just saying hey, dude, welcome to Arrowhead. Trying to just show them. And then
that's sick.
Yeah. Later in the game, they're all lit up, and so is all these Chiefs fans. And then they start a fight, and I'm like, no, and they're trying to kick out all these Bills fans. I'm like, it wasn't them, it was the Chiefs fans. I don't know. I was just trying to be cool because they were just getting their ass kicked, and they these 4 guys drove 17 hours straight from Buffalo. They drove together to go to the first AFC Championship game they've been to, ever. You gotta only be 25 years old. And then, just for them to get kicked out late in the third quarter, and they just drove that way. It was just I was trying my best for them to stay there because I would be pissed if I got kicked out of a opposing stadium in the AFC Championship game after driving all that way. So, but I think it might be a little more competitive. It won't be a 2-touchdown game. And the only reason why it was because we let them score at the end, so it looked closer. It really was a 3-score game most of the second half. I just think we have Buffalo's number, kind of like Baltimore, but I don't know. It's weird. We play Baltimore a little bit more than Buffalo, but I just think
it's playing Buffalo is super interesting to me. It's weird because I agree with you. And I was looking at this initially and I was like, I think Buffalo might be their first loss. And then I really thought about AFC Championship game and then also the game that they had played earlier in the season last year. And it's both of them were clinics from Andy Reid. Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, Steve Smith. I mean, it was a clinic from that coaching staff on how to beat the Buffalo Bills. Unless the Bills show me something that I'm wow, okay, you got to prepare for this. This is going to be interesting. I honestly don't, not that I don't see a way that Kansas City can lose, but I think that that's going to be a game that they win, especially at home. If it was in Buffalo, maybe I would feel a little bit differently about this. We're playing in Kansas City, Sunday Night Football. Those guys are going to be good to go. Obviously,
that's definitely one I want to go back and try to go see if possible.
Yeah, that would be sick.
That's a good one.
What are the prices for that one?
That one's only $160. I paid close to $1,000 for my AFC Championship ticket. So, but I mean, I don't know what it is, but we just get to, it's just like Lamar Jackson. For some reason, we get to Josh Allen and we get to Lamar Jackson. For something, we're able to contain them somehow, especially with their running ability.
Yeah, but, I have the Chiefs right now at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-0, I believe. Yeah, 5-0 at that point. Like I said, the coaching for me from Andy, like that staff, and I keep saying Andy Reid like it's all him. Eric Bieniemy is a phenomenal offensive coordinator. Steve Spagnuolo is a phenomenal defensive coordinator. That entire staff, they know how to beat the Buffalo Bills. I see them being 5-0 at this point. Washington football team, I think that we're both kind of feel the same way about that one, unless Washington shows something crazy in that first 6 weeks. I think that Kansas City's 6-0.
I mean, there's just so much uncertainty with like quarterback there, like who is it? Heineke.
Heineke, is it Fitz? I know Fitz signed there. Like I think that they're going in the right direction. They're a team I kind of not necessarily look at the same way as LA, but I think Washington's like made some really good decisions.
Decent running back, Antonio Gibson, and they got a good defense too. So
I mean, but like that's the thing. Anything can happen. Like if Washington shows up, it's in Washington. You never know. That game could kind of lull you to sleep if you're Kansas City.
Coming off of like a big game on TV the week before.
The other thing is that like, some places, like I remember when I was coaching in college and playing in college, and it was like there were a couple of places that you would go that just kind of like suck the life out of you. And I feel like Washington could be that. So that could be one of those sneaky games where you're like, oh man, like next thing you know, you're in a 10-point game, you're down 3 late in the third, and you're like, we got to figure this thing out, and you've been slow all day. So I don't see that happening. Like Kansas, that's one of the things that's really cool about Kansas City, and it's kind of foolproof, is that like when they need to turn it on, they can turn it on. And like when you got a kid like Pat Mahomes back there, like he can change a game in a play. And Tyreek Hill's got the speed to change a game in a play. So I do think Kansas City's 6-0 after the Washington game. And then Tennessee and Kansas City constantly have just phenomenal football games. Vrabel and Andy Reid going head to head. What do you think happens in this game? At Tennessee, mind you, 10 a.m. game.
Yeah, I mean, with Derrick Henry over there, he could completely wreck our whole game plan for sure. And, Tannehill, he can make throws too. Do I think we win? Of course. Could we lose? Yeah. I mean, like the last time we lost in Tennessee, but there's got to be some crazy things that happen. Like, there's got to be a fumble recovery for a touchdown like they had. They have to get super lucky and block a last second kick. Like they got to do like a lot of things got to fall their way. Like, could they? But I don't think they will win.
Yeah, I actually am. I'm going to go the
close game though.
I'm going to go the other way on this. I think that Tennessee is going to win this one. Okay.
All right, that's it today, boys. Yeah, we're up.
It's been a fun podcast. No, I think did Cam just say the Chiefs are going to lose? I'm out.
Yep.
No,
I can only say that, not you. No,
I think that the Chiefs dropped this one honestly only because they've kind of been through a gauntlet to this point. I think the Washington game is going to be probably closer than we expect, and I think that you're playing 3 back-to-back like gritty football teams with Buffalo, Washington, and Tennessee.
On the road too.
Yeah, you're on the road back-to-back weeks. Like I think that one could be the one that catches up to the Chiefs. So I have them at 6-1 heading into and like this is okay. Why is Kansas City playing the Giants on Monday Night Football?
I have no idea.
And then the next week they turn around and play Green Bay. Like, what do we? Can we flip these, please?
I know, and they're both at home too.
Like what are we doing?
I think here I have, before we get to Green Bay, I have a theory about that. But the New York one, I think that if the Giants offense can be out on the field, like all healthy. I mean, you gotta think of who they got. Look, they have Darius Slayton. Yeah. They got Kenny Golladay. They have John Ross now.
They got
Evan Ingram. They got Dante Pettis, Sterling Shepard. Like their offense is ridiculous. Like if Saquon, Daniel Jones can just get him the ball, and they have Kyle Rudolph. They have Evan Ingram and Kyle Rudolph.
That's true.
So they're not. I think they're gonna kind of make a splash, or surprise some people. I just thought about that, but it comes down to their defense though as well.
Yeah, so. That's. So do you think? I'm assuming you're saying Kansas City's gonna win that.
I think we win because it's. I mean, Monday Night Football primetime. Mahomes. Yeah. He's not gonna mess around. I think it'll be a fun game. It'll be a fun game to watch. Like scoring and stuff. But I just don't.
There's nothing about New York that moves the needle for me quite yet. I think that they still need to bolster that defense. And if you try, like, this is the thing, like, do they have a good offense? Yeah, they have the potential to have a good offense.
Like they definitely set it up as well as they could have. So
if you go into Kansas City and you're like, well, we got a great offense, and you start getting into a shootout, like, that's the last place you want to be.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're going to try. So you're going to say that your offense is going to go stride for stride with Patrick Mahomes and this shit. Like, that's not going to happen.
No.
So I have that one.
You
know what I mean? Like, I have Kansas City winning that one, and I wouldn't be shocked if it's a 2-score game. So I have them at 7-1 going into the Green Bay week, not into Green Bay, playing the Packers at home. And again, this, like, any Green Bay game that I look at this year, like, we don't know what team that's going to be.
That's exactly why I think that it wasn't in prime time and they have it in the afternoon, because it's scheduled to be flexed if it's possible. So I think they were like, okay, well, we're not going to put it on Sunday Night Football right now until we know, or I mean, they can. But now that they know they have wiggle room, like, okay, if Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Packer, then boom, we'll just flex it. And then boom, we'll just have that. But I think right now they played it safe. And I don't know who they put on Sunday night on that game, but I think they've just played it safe because they didn't want to, like, lock it in and then have a bad rating of us, Patrick Mahomes on playing Jordan Love or Bortles or whoever.
Bortles, baby.
God. So I think that's why they did that. But okay, if Rodgers plays, it'll definitely be, most talked about game other than obviously Brady going back to
Fox
Gillette.
I want to talk about that.
I know. No, I think if Packers play, if Rodgers plays, that could easily be a loss. But I mean, I just don't know. They've never actually played head to head. I don't know how.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, because Mahomes was out.
He was injured the last time.
So
yeah.
I don't know. That was anticipated. And we almost beat them. We almost beat the Packers.
Yeah.
We sacked Aaron Rodgers 5 times in that game.
It was like a tight game.
It was a very tight game. And they got lucky on some big plays to, like, Aaron Jones, like a 63-yard, like, little screen pass.
Yeah.
To the house, stuff like that. But I think we beat him, obviously, if Rodgers doesn't play easily. But if he does and he is playing for the Packers, then, man, that's a toss-up. But I don't know. I would say a loss. I want to say. I don't know.
I think that Kansas City can beat Green Bay. I really wanted to see a Kansas City Green Bay Super Bowl last year. Really, really bad. That would have been absolutely electric. I honestly
ruin a lot of people's plans. So
yeah. I think Kansas City can win. Like, obviously, I think that Kansas City will win that game. Once again with Green Bay, I guess let me put it this way: the variable for all of these Chiefs games is what this offensive line looks like. By week 9, I think this O line is going to be vibing. Like, I think they're going to be good to go. So, I honestly I see Kansas City winning that one. If Rodgers isn't in, that one could very possibly be ugly. But I think Kansas City wins that one. Just like I said, there's anytime you're going into a game against Kansas City and the argument for why that team should win is because they have a great offense. That means that you're saying if we can get into a shootout with the Kansas City Chiefs and win, and that's not going to happen. Unless Green Bay's defense just comes out and, plays bully ball and can get the
lucky bounce, or like a fumble. It's not going to be because of Mahomes. That's just how it is.
But I think Kansas City is going to win that one. That means I have them at 8-1 right now. Do you have them at 8-1 as well?
I think it was. Wait. Oh yeah, because you have them losing Tennessee. I had them losing to Baltimore.
Yeah. So we both have them at 8-1. Now is kind of when the schedule gets interesting with going to Vegas. I honestly think the Chiefs are going to unload.
Oh yeah,
no, I think it's going to be a joke. Zero mercy,
and they just make so many weird moves. Like they let go of they trade Rodney Harrison to Cardinals. They let go of like their whole O line, which was one of their strongest points of their team.
Yeah,
and they revamped it, and then they reached for this guy in the first round that could have been like a second round or whatever. It's just, I don't know. It just really shows that, like, John, I don't know. I feel like he just doesn't know what he's doing. Like, is he a good offensive mind? Yeah, but I don't think he's a good, like, drafting players or like making personnel moves.
I was listening to McAfee. I don't like to like speak bad about people, so this is not from what I've said, just something that's interesting that you could throw into the mix. But I was listening to McAfee, and he was talking with Michael Lombardi, and Michael Lombardi was talking about I think it was his experience with John Gruden, or somebody that he had talked to who had worked with John Gruden. Mm-hmm. And he was like not kind about it. He was like, yeah, this dude was like, John Gruden doesn't know how to build a team. He knows how to coach, but he doesn't know how to find players. And it's like, you got Gruden and you got Mike Mayock, who I always thought had NFL experience. He doesn't. He was just an analyst at NFL Network.
Really? I thought Mike Mayock did too. You'd think he would, the way he talks, but he's just...
I was shocked when I looked it up and I was like, Mike Mayock football experience, and there was like not a lot there.
Oh, well, God, I always thought, because he was always the guy in the drafts when he was being an analyst, that I would be like, oh, I got to listen to Mike Mayock. He knows what he's talking about, not like Todd McShay or whoever,
Oh, well, he did play in the NFL. That's not true.
But he didn't coach.
He didn't coach in the league.
No.
He played 9 games in the NFL. He was in there for 2 seasons.
So Marcus Russell.
So I mean, he, like I said, man, like I don't like to speak bad about anybody, but that's one of the teams where you hear stuff like that, where it's like Gruden knows how to coach, he doesn't always necessarily know how to find the right guys, and things kind of start to come together 2-3 years down the road, where you're like, oh, okay, well I think maybe that's why they reached for a tackle.
Yeah, I think I think we handled that game. I think the loss that we had to them last year was just a pure fluke.
Yeah.
They just
pounded the football.
Yeah, and then they pounded it, and then they make good throws, and Ruggs got open, and
Derek Carr's not a bad quarterback. He's like quality, but
they run the ball and do that. But no, their defense, like Mahomes just like couldn't make a play. Like he was scrambling around like he usually does, and you think he's going to make those same throws that he always does, and he just couldn't do it. He was kind of running for his life that day.
Yeah.
But that game doesn't bother me. The next week is a big one. If
this game's earlier in the season, like if they play Vegas like earlier in the season, I think that maybe there's a chance they lose it, just because, like I said, with that variable of the offensive line, maybe there's a chance that Vegas can kind of throw some stuff at the Chiefs that they hadn't seen before in terms of pressure. But I think Kansas City rolls in that game.
Yeah.
The next week, taking on Dallas. Dak is back. Zeke, they can run the football. Like we all know, they kind of revamped their defense this year. Dallas could be an interesting. We say this every year with Dallas. Jesus, every year with Dallas, we say the same thing, and they end up going 6-10 to 8-8, somewhere around there. But I mean, that's the thing, is like Dallas, they also have the defensive talent to be a legit football team. Like they're gonna have Micah Parsons and Jalen Smith as their linebackers. Those are 2 studs. Their defensive line isn't bad. Like.
Well, what about Van Der Esch? Is he still there?
Yeah, Leighton Van Der Esch too. Like they're gonna have a sick linebacking core. So this could be an interesting game. Once again, though, this is one of those games that I do say this is a loss if it's in Dallas.
Yeah.
With it being at home, like
last time we played, I actually was at that game in Dallas, but it was with Alex Smith starting, and we lost that one. But that was that crazy like end of the half play that they kind of dumped it off to Tyreek, and he freaking juked out. Oh my God,
He took it to the house.
Took it to the house, and it was great. And that's where I went and I took a picture on my Instagram standing on the star, because we went there the day before, and I acted like I was taking a dump on it. Yeah, they didn't really like that. They wanted to kick me out, but. But this one's a big one, honestly, as a personal thing, not just because the Chiefs. I love when they play Dallas. It's always fun games. But my sister's a huge Cowboys fan. That's why we flew to Dallas to go see it, or Arlington, whatever. But this is actually on her birthday.
Oh, really?
And her favorite number is 21 because it's on November 21st. And she always liked Deion Sanders when he got traded there, or he signed with them there back in the day. So her favorite number has always been 21. She's born on the 21st, and she's a Cowboys fan. So I wouldn't be surprised if we lost, just because usually when every time we play each other, like Cowboys and Chiefs, my sister's team always wins, and I don't understand why. Like the past 3 times, they just win, and it bothers me. But I don't know. It's just that one I'm definitely trying to go to with her, because it's her team. It's on her birthday, and it'd be awesome.
So do you have them losing this one?
No,
at home.
But
I was gonna
if it was there, then I would. Yeah, they could, but their defense can't keep up. And then we're about to go into a bye week. Like I don't feel it. So.
I got them at 10-1 going into the bye. I got them at, I honestly, like, maybe they drop, one of those previous games. Once again, like the Tennessee game, I think is going to be one of their tougher tests. The Green Bay game, you never know.
Yeah. And then the week 1, week 2, I think, I wouldn't be shocked, like I said about Baltimore, but I wouldn't be shocked if like Cleveland shocks us and then we beat Baltimore, or the other way around. Like, I don't know, something just seems fishy about him being 10-0 in September, and people are just literally on his dick about that. So I hate those like dynamics and storylines and stuff, but they do come into effect to me. So.
So I got him at 10-1 though. I got them at 10-1 going into the bye week. We both have them at 10-1 going into the bye week.
Real quick, another thing too, which I like, this next stretch from week 8 from the Giants game all the way to week 14. Look at this. It's home, home, away, home, home, home.
Yeah,
we have five out of 6 games, a 5 out of 6 game stretch where we get to play in our Arrowhead, and we have a bye week in between 3 home games. So like they're not traveling, they're staying at home, they're in their comfortable, environment, which is nice. I don't know. I like that too.
I mean, anytime you can. The one thing that I like about kind of early, the road games, kind of mid to early season, is that you kind of get this like road dog mentality, like road warrior, right? And like, there's something scary about a team who wins on the road. Like there's 100% something about that.
That's Chiefs. Like we were 8-0 on the road last year, and we lost 2 at home.
Yeah,
and one was the last week, and then the other one was the Raiders. So it's like,
So I mean, like there is something to having those road games be early, but I mean, the counterpoint to that is like, all right, well, we're playing in week 14 or whatever, and we're coming out of our bye week, playing Denver at home, playing Vegas at home. Like, we're vibing right now. Everybody feels good. We're winning football games. So, but coming out of the bye week, I mean, honestly, there's a rule that I have, and there's 2 coaches who don't lose coming out of bye weeks, and that's Bill Belichick and Andy Reid. Yeah. I think that this rings true. The only, like I said, both the Denver games are a toss up to me if Rodgers miracles himself to Denver. Now on that, I've heard that basically that Denver would have to trade like an arm and a leg and cut players for that to happen. So doubt that happens, which means Denver is going to be rolling with Teddy Two Gloves or Drew Lock. And neither of those guys I see being able to do well against Kansas City.
I just saw a little meme, and it was like, oh look, it's a QB controversy between Locke and Teddy Bridgewater, and it's just 2 trash cans floating down the street. But I do think we handle, coming off of a bye, handling the Broncos no problem. I mean, they're a little stingy. It's a division game, they'll probably keep it close for a little bit, but I think we'll end up scoring by 9 or more, 10 or more.
Their offense has potential to be pretty good. I mean, Jerry Jeudy's an absolute stud. Noah Fant's a freak. They get a couple other receivers. Cortland Sutton's coming back. They can be good 100%, but I don't see them being able to make a move against Kansas, especially playing at Kansas City. That's a tough game. So I got them. Let's see, that was 10-1, 11-1 after week 13 and the bye. Now they come back home playing Vegas at home. Do you think this is a game that can kind of sneak up on them? 10 a.m. game, not in December. Not in December. They're pretty locked in at this point,
I mean,
right?
That's why I love these late bye weeks for the Chiefs, because you get to freaking because there's like people. Isn't there someone that has like a week 4 bye? I think I know, having a bye that time and then have to play the entire freaking season.
Bye weeks start at week 4. I want to say insane. Week 4 or 5, which is wild.
Well, last year there was one in like week 2 because of COVID, but
But
no, I just don't think losing at home in December against Vegas, and we just played them, a month earlier with a bye week in between. I don't have a problem with that one. I agree. I think I chalk that up as a dub. They are more likely to beat us in Vegas, which I don't think they're going to beat us in Vegas. So
I completely agree with you. So that means that we have them at 13-1. Heading into 13, 14, 15, 16, 12-1. Excuse me. So 12-1.
How dare you? We're going to get roasted for that one, huh?
End this podcast. So week 15, Thursday night game against LA. This is a game that I think could sneak up on them. only because it's a short week.
Yeah, I'm going there too. I'm going to that one.
You have to play in Kansas City. You basically have to fly out immediately to LA.
Yeah.
Get shit ready. Get ready to roll. Game on Thursday. And you like LA could be feeling themselves at this point. Maybe they're on a roll. I don't know what their schedule looks like.
That's I know a little trappy kind of a game for sure.
Yeah, so I could see them having this late season drop, and I'm actually going to say they lose this game.
Okay.
I could see them having because like and again like you start thinking
short about week coming off of playing our other two division
storylines, right? The storyline of this one. Going in, they play LA. They drop one to LA on Thursday night. ESPN, everybody light everything on fire. Chiefs can't play. God. They can't play. They're going into play. They're going to play Pittsburgh next week. They're going to get rolled. Big Ben's coming back, and then I think Kansas City puts it on Pittsburgh. To be honest.
Oh yeah.
But I do think that this is a trap game. I think it's tough. Anytime, dude. Thursday night games. Anything can happen. It doesn't matter who is on.
And if I'm in attendance, it's going to be a weird game for sure.
Yeah, so. Yeah, exactly.
I will be going to this game because. That'll be the first time I think they're going to let people into SoFi Stadium. So yeah. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, the Thursday night games, I think anything can happen. I playing in LA, this is the game that they're playing. Maybe not the most formidable opponent that I think they can lose, and I think they do. To be honest, late season losses like this sometimes are a really good thing for your football team.
Oh yeah,
kind of get things back on track. Where'd we go wrong? Maybe it's something that has been lagging for the last couple of weeks that we have to fix now. So I do think they drop this one.
I actually am with you on that one. I think it could definitely happen because of coming off of two division opponents and then the third one in a row and then on the road.
That's crazy. Actually, I didn't even notice that.
It's
3 in division games like that anything
boom boom boom. So yeah, I'd say, and it's hard to sweep the whole division. We've always like the past. I think Mahomes is only. God, I don't know what it is, but he lost. Oh well, he hasn't lost to the Broncos, but yeah, I think the first year. No, he didn't actually. He lost to the Chargers.
Yeah,
on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah,
in Kansas City. And that was a weird game too, where Phillip Rivers, it's like the 2-point, all those penalties, whatever. Oh yeah. I don't like that
one. No, I think they dropped that game to LA, but then this, I'm just closing my eyes and seeing all the clowns on ESPN pumping the tires of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben making one more run. Najee Harris maybe playing good football. Juju coming back. Steelers defense is good. And I could see this game being pumped up to be like a possible AFC championship matchup. And I could see the Chiefs winning this game by 14 points. And I could also see this game being flexed to Sunday Night Football if that's the case. Because this is a 125 game. I could see them pushing that one to Sunday night, which would be sick if they could do that. But I think Kansas City will beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's got a great defense. I understand that. To be honest, I'm just not really sold on Pittsburgh. That secondary has to be able to keep up, and
is Big Ben going to be healthy at that?
Yeah,
week
that's
16?
another thing.
You never know. He actually played all of last year, so that tells you kind of do. And he's not, he doesn't put work into his body like Tom Brady does. So he just a fat log.
How dare you say that about Ben Roethlisberger?
He's a great guy.
No, I kind of see Kansas City rolling in that one for some reason. I don't know why. But Pittsburgh's always kind of the darling, there's a couple in my eyes, there's always a couple of teams that are golden boys in the NFL. The Giants, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh are 3 that come to mind that I just feel like they're always getting calls. Not that there's some gigantic conspiracy or whatever. But I do think that Kansas City will beat Pittsburgh, especially with it being in Kansas City. They'd be sick if they could flex that to Sunday night. But
what are we all that said, I have 13-2 right now.
Yeah, I have met 2 losses. I'm just going to subtract at the end. But so Cincinnati in Cincinnati. If Joe Burrow doesn't have a severed leg at that point, then it'll be a good game. But
I think it'll be exciting. It'll be close, but
yeah, I think that they can obviously I think that they'll be able to work Cincinnati in Cincinnati, and then finishing things off Denver at Denver.
What, last week of the season? Yeah, I think we'll have it kind of locked up by then. I don't think there's a great chance that Mahomes doesn't even play in this one. That's where my thoughts are. Yeah. So I would say it's a loss if he doesn't play. If he does play, and let's just say Rodgers is there somehow, that would be the most epic game of the year.
You think they put it here? You think they put it here because of that?
Yeah, I just watched something on it today. They're like, I think that would be very interesting. That's why they did it in Denver, just in case he is there. It's either just a wash game, like we already got it locked up, or if Rodgers is there, that would be an epic end to the season.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
As a fan, that would be sick.
Yeah, I guess. Right, yeah, I would take that as a W though, with no Rodgers there, or no.
Yeah, no Rodgers. I think it's a win, and I mean, obviously, we're having some serious hypotheticals talking about Rodgers in Denver. So, as of right now, I think that's a win, and I think the Chiefs finish this season 15-2.
Yeah, I would say that's a very realistic possibility because I don't want to go. I hate when people talk about going undefeated and probably some.
Dude, who
cares? Like how I know it's like I don't care about going undefeated. I want to win the damn Super Bowl. Every single year. I want to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So. No, I think that Kansas City finishes this thing off 15-2. I mean, they got their bye week at a great time in Week 12. Having that offensive line healthy is going to be the biggest thing. Completely revamped it, man. That's awesome. But
I got the Super Bowl's in LA this year too. That's SoFi
Super Bowl's in LA this year?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, that Super Bowl's in LA. So no, if the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, I'm like an hour away from it. So that's
wild. How did I not know that?
Oh yeah, that's 2022. SoFi Stadium. That's why.
In the Rams Stadium, right?
Yeah. Well, Rams Charger Stadium. Yeah.
Oh, they're sharing. That's right. I'm the worst ex-LA ex-LA resident ever.
Yeah. You lived in Southern California, did you?
For 5-6 years, but whatever.
But I think that'd be really cool if we can. I mean, because we both had him as a loss on that Thursday night game. That'd be fun to go back and be able to win it there. But I mean, I know it's a tough task to go back to 3 Super Bowls in a row. It's huge. But
dude,
I think the only thing holding us back is. The only thing that would hold us back from making another deep run is just injuries. I
agree.
All about 15. So.
Yeah, injuries is going to be the biggest thing, keeping everybody healthy. Like I said, the bye week comes at a really good time, and then you have the fact that your last 2 games are Cincinnati and Denver. Just for example, let's say one of your stud defensive guys is injured. Dude, sit. I'm not playing you against Cincinnati or Denver. We're gonna have you healthy and then hopefully you get that bye going into the playoffs. That's how you can kind of schedule things out so that it's good. But so we both have them at 15-2. We'll be able to see if this thing holds true.
The only description we had was I thought they'd lose to Baltimore and you thought they would lose to Tennessee.
Yeah, the losses that I have is Tennessee and the Thursday night game against the Chargers. You have the loss as Baltimore and the Thursday night game against the Chargers. So any other game, to be honest, I haven't looked at the schedule in its entirety. I've the Patriots schedule, and
I mean, I did want to know when Tom was going there.
Dude, that game.
What's your thoughts? I don't get why you don't want it to be played. We talked about this earlier, guys.
Yeah.
You were saying,
I wanted to bring this up on here. Yeah. One of the things that Robert was asking was basically I, as a Patriots fan and as a Brady guy, I hope that game gets canceled. I don't want to.
I get it. I would want to beat his ass.
But Tommy, he 6 Super Bowls. I don't want anything bad to happen to that man. I hope that he. And again, this is weird. People are gonna hate me for this.
I know. But I don't understand it.
Obviously, okay. So if people are asking me, yes, I want the Patriots to win that game. 100%, I want the Patriots to win. That's not really a negotiable. But it's I love Tom Brady. I don't I would if that game could be not played or we're gonna move.
You just don't want him to beat your Packers as a non-Packer? Is that, or I mean, a Packer? Patriots. Oh my God, Patriots as a non-Patriot? Is that what it is?
I don't want that. I also just hate all the ESPN bullshit that's gonna get pumped into that game, that. All the storylines and all that shit, that just makes me cringe. I hate that. It's just football. Just go out there and play. I don't know. I think that people are going to put too much stock into it. And if Brady loses, then people are, and the other thing is this stupid Brady versus Belichick debate, which is the dumbest debate in the world. It's so stupid. I'm going to make a video on it. I cannot stand
who wins the game
conversation piece. So this is the thing.
I think I would put money on Pats.
Which is what decent amount of people are being
I'm just reading right here. It says Tom Brady Sr. says he's salivating over Tampa Bay Buccaneers Patriots Week 4 matchup. That's
I
the
mean,
quote.
like obviously
they're already pumping this shit.
Like, it's so stupid, dude. It's like I just I hate the fanfare and the media part of it. But no,
sorry,
like,
but who's gonna win? That's what we were talking about.
So. Honestly, dude, I think Tampa wins, and it's just because they have everybody returning. Everybody comes back. There's nobody left. Everybody's still there. So, like, you're basically rolling into this year. There's not going to be really anything new. It's same coaches, same players. You're just extending last season with a little bit of a break in between. So it's like this entire team is going to be super comfortable with each other. New England, when you look at it, there's a ton of new pieces there that need to get comfortable with each other. Yeah. It'll be I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I think that it'll be like a 3 to 7 point game, but I do think Tampa wins.
Belichick the thing I think about, maybe because I'm not a non-football playing person, but I just think him knowing Tom Brady so well and knowing what he really doesn't like, but also again, he knows Bill Belichick's defense.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, right? Like,
that game is like Brady is going to probably scheme up a game plan. Like, that's probably going to be Brady's game plan.
It's like,
So, like I said, it'll be interesting. It's really, really weird for me just because I have such an affinity towards Tom Brady and I want to see him win and succeid.
And then cheer for someone for so long, and then all of a sudden you're supposed to just not.
Man. I mean, like, honestly, like I hope it's because it ripped my heart out. Like, I hope it doesn't happen with Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. But it's like Patrick Mahomes plays in Kansas City for 20 years, and then at the end of it, I'm out. And then
to the Giants or something.
Yeah, and like goes to some weird NFC team and like wins a Super Bowl. You're gonna be like, and then he comes back and plays Kansas City the next year in Arrowhead. You're gonna be like, I don't know. Your brain is gonna
so disgusting.
It's so weird. It's really weird to think about Tom Brady going to Foxborough, being a visitor, playing against Bill Belichick is the weirdest thought. And I think that's like, it makes me uncomfortable to think about because I'm like, I don't know how to like process this.
But obviously, like, you're a Pats fan, so you want the Pats to win. But
I want the Patriots to win, 100%.
Yeah, because you got to move on, even though you love Tommy, you got to move on with your team and roll with your team. I love that,
Yeah.
But man, that's gotta be
I want the Patriots to win. Like, I want the Patriots to win. I want to see Cam Newton do well. I want to see Mac Jones develop. Like, I'm a Patriots fan, 100%.
Yeah.
Thinking about them playing Tom Brady, who was synonymous with the Patriots for 20 years, is also putting my brain in a pretzel. I don't know how to respond to that. So, like, it's really, really weird. Yeah. Really weird. But we'll see what happens. I'll probably just stay off it. Yeah, I never go on ESPN to begin with. It's making
you're getting me to that point too.
It makes me like physically nauseous to see the ESPN logo on the upper left of the screen. But yeah, dude, it's gonna be. Has ESPN started talking shit about the Chiefs at all, or not yet?
I mean, they always do. Actually, right now they're kind of like saying how much it's probably gonna be. They're gonna go back or repeat, but not a whole lot of shit talking. Just because
they always pump tires early.
Yeah, we got our O-line. That's mainly the main thing people are still talking about. Wow, they revamped their O-line. He's got a wall back there. I just don't see how anyone can stop him other than injuries. And it's just like, I totally agree. I don't think there's anything stopping us from going and winning the AFC again and going to it. And I never thought I'd be like that. So.
This would be this is actually interesting. Who do you think, like, assuming the Chiefs go to the AFC Championship game, who do you think is the most likely opponent? I think it's Buffalo again?
No.
Baltimore? Or?
I think Buffalo fumbles somehow. I think Baltimore, I think Cleveland will go a little deeper maybe this year. Coming back, even though we're going to beat them week 1, hopefully. And I just don't, looking at our opponents, like, I just don't think of anyone really beating us. It's only NFC teams that I'm like worried about. It's like Tampa Bay and Green Bay and the Niners, honestly, could bounce back big.
The Niners are going to be really interesting to see what they do this year.
Yeah.
Like, you don't pick a dude 3 overall to have him not play. Like,
I remember I made that stupid bet. I made a $500 bet in January saying, like, with all my Niner friends, saying, like, that Jimmy Garoppolo will not be the week 1 starter for the team. And I have a $500 bet straight up with some guy.
Don't draft a guy 3 overall to not play.
I know, but here's what's going to happen. He's going to freaking play 1 quarter into week 1 and get injured, and I'm going to lose my $500 bet. And it's going to be Trey Lance the rest of the way and no looking back. And when they should just cut Jimmy Garoppolo and save $25 million towards the cap Like,
dude,
I just don't understand how you can pay two guys. What does a rookie get? Like $15 million a year?
Because he got drafted so high, he'll get a nice little deal.
So that's like $40 million you're paying to your quarterback room. Like, I know that we paid Mahomes about that, but he's Mahomes. He's not Jimmy Garoppolo. And
Trey Lance's contract with the Niners should pay him $34 million over the next 4 years.
Yeah, so you're making 10 plus. You're putting like close to $40 million into your quarterback room for Jimmy Garoppolo, who's going to get injured at some point, and then Trey Lance, who's a rookie. I mean, that you just need to unleash. This is just me. Obviously, I'm like, I want it to happen really bad, just so I can win my bet and be correct. But it's really not even about the money. I just want to be right, But I don't know with them. So
I don't know. Okay, so we think Chiefs AFC Championship game, I'm assuming, is kind of your pick for this, which I don't think is. I would agree. I don't think that's wild for the Chiefs to win the AFC. 3 years of dominance is really, really hard to do. Yeah. But like losing a Super Bowl, I think in a lot of ways could be good for Kansas City, especially and it's weird because. It's really weird because you start thinking about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes as almost like two separate entities. And it's like, oh, it's important for him to like feel that loss early. And it's like, I think the thing with Mahomes, and part of the reason why I'm like drawn to him as a football player is because he's a team guy and because he seems like a Kansas City ride or die guy. So, looking at that team as a whole, like I don't see anybody going anywhere. And I think that having that loss, like knowing that you can be that close and lose, because I think that like with Brady, when he won his first three Super Bowls that he went to, it was legitimately like you were like, all right, if we get there, we're gonna win. And like having that loss, I think is important, especially for a young quarterback with the potential like Patrick Mahomes has. And
I mean, he's played in so many games. He's already played almost another full season of just playoff football.
Dude, it's wild.
It's like Tom's played like 3 extra seasons of football because of playoffs. So yeah. I mean, I get it. Like to go all the way back and play in that many games every single year. I mean, it's tough to do. And would I be shocked if we don't go to the Super Bowl again? I wouldn't at all, because it's super hard to do. And to go to 3 Super Bowls in a row, I've seen that happen. Twice, maybe?
Yeah, I think New England did it.
Did they do it twice?
I think they did it twice because they.
Then obviously the Bills went to 4, but they lost all 4 of them.
Oh my God! Could you imagine that?
4 falls of Buffalo.
Heartbreaking, man. That's.
Just imagine you go back your second year, you're like, okay, there's no way we can lose this one. Then you go back for a third, and then the 4th one in a row, you're just like, and you lose. And the first one was the closest one, and then the other 3 were like kind of blowouts, not blowouts, but they.
Dude, like. Honestly, at that point, like, because I don't know that era like super well. Like, I don't know if the Bills, like, if it was the same coaching staff, if it was the same players, but like, dude,
after a lot of the same players, because I watched the 30 for 30 on it. It was mostly the same players. But
after like 3, going into the 3rd one, you got to imagine that they're in the locker room, like, all right, like,
if
it happens again, like, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they crumbled. I know.
That's wild, man.
I know. We lost to them in the AFC Championship that year.
In one of those?
Yeah, in one of their runs, we lost to them in the AFC Championship with Joe Montana.
I said Montana.
Yeah, but yeah, dude. I can't imagine 3 Super Bowls in a row, but I mean, it'd be so epic. And we totally have the team to do it. And I think that, with what Veach did in the offseason, he knows that, like, to keep all these guys together, Kelsey, Hill, Matthew, and all of, Chris Jones, Mahomes, everybody. Like,
do you think they make moves near the trade? Do you think they make any moves near the trade deadline? Like, if
we have an issue with a second receiver still, like no one really popping off, or McCool just kind of running around, not really knowing what he's doing.
If the Chiefs are sitting there at week 5 and they need a number 2 and they make a move for Julio or something, I'm gonna lose my mind. That's insane. I could see them doing it.
Can't afford Julio. That's the thing. We could totally do it, but I just don't.
Dude, Veach can do whatever he wants. The guy's an accounting wizard.
I don't understand, too. We have 177 literal dollars this offseason. Oh, yeah. We'll go ahead and re-sign Mahomes and Kelsey to a big contract extension. Oh, don't forget about Chris Jones. Somehow we did that, too. So, I don't know.
So we're going to restructure your contract. Your first year, you're going to get a $15 paycheck and a Subway gift card. How do you feel about that? The rest is going to be signing bonus.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. No, I don't know. I think we could do some kind of trade, but I don't know. I don't think we're going to splash as big as Julio. That'd be crazy. Yeah. I mean, it'd be awesome, but that'd be crazy.
That'd be fucking wild if they pick up a cat like that.
But yeah, 15-2. I'll take that.
15-2. So Robert and I both have the Chiefs at 15-2. Both of us have them going AFC Championship game, unless a dark horse just comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, damn.
Or an injury. You know?
Yeah, or an injury. Like you never know. But I see the Chiefs making another run at the Super Bowl. That's all I got. Do you have anything else?
Nope.
Nothing.
I just want to show you my shirt.
Oh yeah, great shirt.
Oh, and then
great shirt.
Then turn around.
Show the people. That's the final score for all those those of you who don't know. That was the final score.
We were down 10 and we won by 11.
Is that a Barstool shirt?
Oh yeah.
Nice. Barstool.
You got me on Barstool's dick.
All right, guys, that will conclude Chiefs Talk Episode 2, the schedule breakdown. Let us know down in the comments below what you think the Chiefs will go, where they'll end up. Go ahead and light us up for any names we didn't pronounce correctly, any players we thought were going to do well that you don't think will do well. At the end of the day, we're just talking football. We enjoy having all you guys here and checking us out. That's all we got for today.
Thanks, everybody.
We're going to have to figure out what to talk about next week, but we'll see you guys next time.
All right. Peace.
All right.